This creep, that is unbelievable. Do you want to waste the time, and do you feel like answering?
I don't mind ask a question about the client list, and my response was, it's sitting on my desk to be reviewed, meaning the file along with
Liar.
The JFK, MLK files as well. That's what I meant by that. Also, to the tens of thousands of video, they turned out to be child porn downloaded by that disgusting Jeffrey Epstein. Every night the video is reset, and every night should have the same minute missing. So we're looking for that video to release that as well, showing that a minute is missing every night. And that's it on Epstein.
Okay. Yeah, really quick. So I had watched a couple of body language and some reviews of what took place. Number one, I'll say this about everyone that I watched about the body language, like nobody took away that when Donald Trump was saying, are we still talking about this creep, this and that, about Epstein, like nobody was like thinking that he was speaking from a place of guilt. Okay, so I just want to preface that. Number two, when it came to Pam Bondi, is that she obviously lied. Because not only did they review that, but they reviewed the moment that she was asked by that Fox reporter about the Epstein client list, specifically asking her, is that going to be released to the public? She said yes, about the client list. And so comparing that with what we just saw, it was their opinion that she did lie.
Yeah.
For the Matt.
I mean, there's a whole heck of a lot to say about this. This starting the ball rolling. This is an avalanche which has been continuing now for over a week, and to blame it on anyone other than Donald Trump would be foolish and disrespectful to intelligence. So it was Trump's words that came out of his own mouth there that offended so many of us, including Tucker Carlson and the entire MAGA right community, because what he was insinuating is that it's ridiculous that we're asking this question. And this is in the context of that conference was about the deaths and the flooding that was taking place in Texas. So whether or not Donald Trump was specifically, saying that talking about Epstein altogether, at this point in time is ridiculous, and he was really inferring to that moment. I guess you could make that case if you wanted, but all of his actions, including his Truth Social this week, reinforces that he absolutely thinks that we should shut up about Jeffrey Epstein. And, I think that Trump, in his language there, including Pam Bondi's response, is just retarded. Absolutely retarded. That had brought my faith meter, when I heard that, down to around like 54%, in Matt LaPlace schizophrenia.
The faith meter, the Trump faith meter. So this brother, John Dro the Ghost, says, you think, Nasty Epstein brothers, you've seen the picture of Trump with Epstein, right? Yeah, we've seen it. Like, obviously, like, they both lived in New York. They're both billionaires. I mean, they're gonna know each other. They're gonna be in certain circles and events and things like that. So I don't think anybody's denying the fact that Epstein and Trump have been in the same room, spoken to each other. We even know that Epstein visited Mar-a-Lago. Was in some sense a frequent visitor to Mar-a-Lago until he got barred by Donald Trump for trying to pick up on an underage girl. Donald Trump actually barred him for that, told him he can never come back. And so I don't think that in the Epstein file that Donald Trump, this is what I think. I don't think that there would be anything incriminating to him during this, in the Epstein file. Because if he was guilty, like we just went through three presidential cycles of Donald Trump running for president. If there was an October surprise that was going to get Donald Trump not elected, it would be the Epstein files. I mean, why didn't the Democrats release the Epstein file that Donald Trump was a part of that client list? Like they had the opportunity to release it. It was sitting on the Democrats. Joe Biden had it. Barack Obama had it, and he could have given it to Hillary Clinton. And so if Donald Trump was guilty, I think, and this is me thinking logically, I think that they would have used it on Donald Trump by now. And so I don't think it's there. Now, could it be that Donald Trump maybe knows somebody that could be on that Epstein list? Perhaps, maybe. So, I don't know. But anyways, yeah, so that's kind of my thoughts on that, Matt.
All right, let's go. Let's go to our next continuing on this this saga of Epstein here from Laura Trump.
So I don't know that this was top of mind for him, but he hears all the noise and he hears all of the consternation out there. And I think he's going to want to set things right as well. So I believe that there will probably be more coming on this. And I believe anything that they are able to release that doesn't, damage any witnesses or anyone underage or anything like that. I believe they'll probably try to get out sooner rather than later because they hear it and they understand it. So hopefully we see that happen sooner than later. And I guess that would be my advice. But to everybody out there who's all worked up about it, there's no great plot to keep this information away that I'm aware of. I do just believe that maybe it's been slow rolled for reasons that hopefully we understand down the line. And I think we're probably going to get more transparency on it very soon.
Yeah, so we go from there's no client list, there's nothing to see here, he killed himself, to now Donald Trump is hearing from his base, and now we're going to maybe see a little bit more of the Epstein list.
After everything that you saw at Turning Point, which represents our demographic, and everything that's on X, I think he had no choice. Let's see what the Alex.
Crystal P asked. She says, "Why does the Epstein files even matter, Matt? Why does it even matter?"
Well, because some of our hope to illustrate who is really the deep state and to define what the deep state stands for in terms of biblical representation of evil and atrocity that's way beyond any greed or power motive is illustrated by this pedophilia blackmail network. And one man happening to be a pedophile is sort of insignificant compared to this man being a pedophile who's curating underage boys and underage girls for other individuals of great power. So the reason why it matters so much is because what we have been led to believe since Epstein's death 7 years ago is that this client list was going to reveal to us these big names and heads of state all across the world. And heads of corporate and finance and bankers and everything all above. And so the hope for us Christians is that this would get us closer to illustrating a biblical, demonic, satanic evil that would bring people who weren't believers closer to the reality that this is not a greed or even a sexual appetite type of thing, that this is actually an illustration of who controls this world, just as our scripture says, which is the power and the prince of the air, Satan. And when we reveal the Epstein list, it actually exposes Satan for who he is.
Yeah, I would even say too, like, when you get people like Pam Bondi and Kash Patel, saying stuff like, "Hey, we're not going to be releasing the videos." Like, obviously, I don't think anybody's talking about wanting to release the videos. Like nobody's asking for that. So, number one, I don't like it when they gaslight us like that. But number two, why is it important? Is because, like you mentioned, it's exposing the evil. It's bringing people to justice. It's retribution for those that were sexualized and crimes committed against, horrible crimes. There's justice that is served, and it sends a message. This is not okay, and we're not going to put up with it. We don't want to put up with it. We're not going to put up with it, and we're going to hold people accountable. So I think that's the whole thing about this client list. Is we want people held accountable. And look, you know what? If that is a Donald Trump, I would want him held accountable. we are not, we should not be a nation that lets things like this slide. And it doesn't matter who you are.
And everyone's been
You can't
outspoken.
be doing
Donald
that.
was outspoken. We'll see later. J.D. Vance was outspoken. We also want them living up to their word on every single thing that they said to us, not just 90% of it. And this is one of the things that they promised. Yet Donald Trump did hesitate.
He did hesitate.
He did hesitate because what he was illustrating is that he believed that there's a lot of fluff and there's a lot of people that would be implicated by this client list that aren't really responsible and that would cause undue attention towards certain people. But as much as I don't want to get on board this Pam Bondi bashing, which Megyn Kelly went completely crazy for a 30-minute tangent on stage at Turning Point this weekend, which I went to X and I actually did it. I covered that live as soon as she got speaking because I found it to be completely distasteful that now all of the ire in terms of what's the reasoning why the Epstein files are not being released is being placed at Pam Bondi's feet. As if we don't believe that Donald Trump has any say in this or any powers that be or anything. It's just all Pam Bondi now, and she's going to be our scapegoat because heads have got to roll, and that being politics as usual. And I don't think that's necessary in order to take a patriot like Pam Bondi and chop her head off, put her on the chopping block, in order for us to admit that the Trump administration and Trump himself was wrong, and that the MAGA base is now requiring that this we're going to need to see some exposure here. And I do believe that a 180 is taking place. Let's continue to what Alex Jones had to say about this whole thing before as the week began.
Trump has taken control. He didn't do it. They're shutting it down from everything I've seen. He is taking control of the FBI CIA blackmail file. And now I suddenly see this deep state more and more rolling over. People say, well, that's very immoral to do. The argument would be it's too damaging to bring this act and bring down the whole government. I'm not endorsing that. But the best approximation I've got is they get the files. They raid the FBI. The FBI raids the FBI 5 months ago. When they hid the files in New York, they make the guy resign that was covering it up. And Comey's daughter's still there. They then load the gun, cock the gun, point at the deep state's head, and now suddenly the NATO, everybody's kissing Trump's butt, and it looks like Trump is now in control of the file, and obviously they're not going to read in the FBI. It's the CIA and Ratcliffe doing it. The best approximation I've got, and it is speculation, but I got a lot of points, is that Trump has decided to just use the file against them. What do you think, Judge?
I think you're right on point with that. I think a great deal of what happened with Smith and Millargo when the FBI raided it some years ago, and this thing that clearly they had no standing to go against about him supposedly having classified confidential documents when, as we have discussed, the President of the United States under the Constitution as chief diplomat and commander-in-chief has been held to have absolutely unquestionable authority as to what he declares either confidential and secret or decides to declare is not such. So my sneaking suspicion is that a lot of what he refused to turn over to the archivist, which was unconstitutional in terms of what it was trying to put in place through statutory override of constitutional authority, which is wrong, is that there was wrongdoing that if he turned it over to the archivist was going to be turned over to the people who were recorded doing wrong, and they would destroy it. So he had an obligation to the people to maintain control of that, which he did. And I see absolutely nothing wrong with it. And it's been dropped. It's dead. It's not there, but he knows that. And I have a sneaking suspicion that when the investigations are completed and they're solid, we're going to start.
I saw one beat one of our boys to death with a stuffed animal frog.
A stuffed animal frog?
Okay.
Yeah, I've killed probably 10 or 12 redcoats with old Froggy here. It's a highly underrated melee.
Pause that for a second. Fact check says there's no 4D chess move. It's a blatant cover up, and Alex Jones sends one thing one day, then he says another thing another day. And something that recently Alex Jones was talking about, because uh, uh, Ghislaine Maxwell, who was Epstein's, what do we call Epstein? What was she to Epstein?
Accomplice, procurer, madam.
Okay, yeah. So her accomplice, who's in jail right now, is now threatening to come out with the Epstein client list. That's kind of the latest, and Alex Jones was talking about that. Now, next week, we're going to be dealing with Ghislaine Maxwell didn't kill herself. Um, so that remains to be seen. But that's what's been coming out now from Alex Jones. So I don't know, man. What's do you think he's playing 4D chess, Donald Trump? Speaking of Donald Trump,
It's been on my
or
mind. I mean, I can't ignore that since Alex has stated this possibility. I've been considering it the entire time in terms of what's really going on here. Alex's prediction about Iran and the advance notice that have been given, or that was about to be given, did end up being true. And oftentimes Alex is not just speaking out of predictive insight or pattern matching, but it's because of his internal sources. And sometimes he just doesn't have the ability to relay and say who it is or what's going on. So I've come to trust Alex over the years, but the way that he's explaining this right now is as a theory and certainly not as a fact. But since he's spoken it, I have not been able to shake this reality from my mind. And even if that is the case, I don't agree with it, because I believe that this type of thing needs to be exposed. However, I'm on the heels of being wildly wrong about Iran. And that's forced me into this position where I've given Trump very wild benefit of doubt now all throughout the course of the past week, that has been really earned, I believe. And until he does me wrong again, I'm just going to continue trusting him to be doing what he said and being a statesman in order to save America. It has been really weird to see what's happened over there in the EU and how they've done an about face in the matter of weeks. The EU is not a friend of the America First project. The EU is equated with the globalist as much as you could possibly ever imagine. And for him now taking at NATO from 2% to 5% so effortlessly, and now they seem to be really kissing his butt. I can't help but shake this idea
calling
that
him
Alex
daddy?
has implanted in my mind. Yeah, I can't shake it. So do I think that's what's happening? I don't know, but we have some. You've heard about that missing minute, haven't you? The missing minute
Yeah.
of footage. Yeah. Well, it appears as if we have found out who is responsible for that missing minute of footage, and we'll cut to that right now.
I knew you were going to show that.
It's
Oh
Hillary.
man, hold on. I got something for you. Oh man, that missing minute. Yeah. So for our viewers that maybe may not know, that was another big thing that.
Well, it's now being
you know-
reported by the corporate media that John Brennan, the former head of the CIA,
is that
Sorry about that.
is that supposedly that there is this minute that first there was no video. Remember, we remember when Epstein killed himself, supposedly, that there was somehow no video of his jail cell, that it went missing and there's not there. And when the files were quote unquote released to us, that now all of a sudden here's this video. And of course, this 10-hour video, they analyzed it, and somehow right at the end at 11:59 p.m. it skips and starts over. And so there is this missing minute, and everybody was all up in arms. And where's this missing minute at? And we want to see that minute. And you found it. Brother Matt. That's amazing.
Oh yeah, and we'll get back to that minute here in just a second after we hear what's really going on with John Brennan. Actually, I guess we're skipping that. So what's happened here associated with the minute is Wired magazine actually has written an article which is annotating how they have investigated, done forensic science of the metadata on that video that was released. And what it's illustrating is that they found metadata stating that the program was edited by Adobe Premiere, and that Pam Bondi's explanation saying that this is some sort of security system that automatically in the evening at around 10:59 at night, that it automatically resets and that 1 minute becomes missing. And what she was stating is that she's going to be releasing videos that proves that by showing other evenings, other times during the day. Wait a second here. By saying other time periods during the day where that minute was also missing, but Wired magazine is indicating that they have found metadata that says that it is absolutely not true. So.
Yeah, I guess.
Yep. Well, and moving on, is what makes us even more wildly irritating is the fact that we have the opposite perspective here that's been going on. J.D. Vance, obviously is saying that if you're a journalist and you're not asking questions about this case, you should be ashamed of yourself. That's what J.D. Vance had said in 2021, and it follows suit with what Donald Trump has been saying now. And now it's about face complete change of mind, saying that they're not going to release this information. And we see that on the heels of this, everything is wanting to be blamed on Pam Bondi, Kash Patel. Donald Trump is saying that the FBI under the direction of Deputy Director Kash Patel and Director Dan Bongino is back to basics, locking out criminals and cleaning up America's streets. We have the greatest law enforcement professionals in the world, but politics and corrupt leadership often prevented them from doing their job. That's no longer the case, and now they have been unleashed to do their jobs, and they're making just that. So it appears to be a little bit of a deflection, So the idea that there isn't intentionality here to 100% take our eyes off of Jeffrey Epstein and put our eyes on something else. It looks like that was the direction that Trump was really trying to force us in. And there's been these leaks that are happening through Axios and into the mainstream news that was evidence that I believe the Trump the Trump administration is clearly in control of the narrative by the leaks that are coming out of the White House. But now we're sort of seeing a true about face happening, especially as we see that Ghislaine Maxwell is Jeffrey Epstein's accomplice. Ghislaine Maxwell is ready to reveal the truth of the pedophile's client list, say insiders, according to the Daily Mail. And then everything that we just saw at Turning Point over the past week, it really is illustrating that there is a fight. There is a fight that we in the MAGA movement is not allowing to happen. And if you follow that up with what Alan Dershowitz had to say about the whole situation.
This is not an opinion. This is a fact. I have seen, remember, I was accused falsely on the Epstein, and ultimately I was completely cleared. The woman admitted that she may have mistook me for somebody else and withdrew all of her lawsuits. And so from day one, from the day I was accused, I said I want every document out because I knew every document would prove I was innocent. So let me tell you, I know for a fact documents are being suppressed. And they're being suppressed to protect individuals. I know the names of the individuals. I know why they're being suppressed. I know who's suppressing them. But I'm bound by confidentiality from a judge and cases, and I can't disclose what I know. But I hand to God, I know the names of people whose files are being suppressed in order to protect them, and that's wrong. They're everything. And let me
Wow.
tell you, a lot of them are.
Yo, that's
At
strong.
least one of them is somebody who was accused. Others are accusers, and the judges have said, if somebody calls themselves a victim, we're not going to give any information about them. But they may not be victims; they may be perpetrators. So we don't have information about false accusers, and we know there have been many false accusers who have accused innocent people for money. And those records are being deliberately, willfully suppressed. And they shouldn't be suppressed. If the accusation is allowed out, so should the material that diminishes the credibility of the accuser. We want total transparency on this. Every single document, no redaction. That's what I've said from day one. I waive any of my rights of privacy. Anything there is about me, I'm happy because it will be exculpatory, because I know I haven't touched a woman other than my wife from the day I met Jeffrey Epstein. I don't even hug people, but I was falsely accused and I was able to prove it. And I was able to prove it through documents. And I want other people to be able to disprove
like that
false
guy.
accusations through documents. But these documents are being suppressed and withheld.
I like that guy. I think that guy, he's on point, man. And man, I mean, what a testimony like that. You know, I saw somebody had posted that Epstein list killed itself, but that Kash Patel sold out. And what do we expect from someone who swore in on the Bhagavata? How do you say that?
Bhagavad Gita.
Bhagavad Gita. And yeah, what do you? I guess what would you expect from a Kash Patel that swore not on the Bible but on a Hindu book?
Well, if
Is that
MAGA,
fair to say?
I mean, not really. Maybe from a Christian perspective, we really don't have true trust for anybody that isn't a born-again Christian. But in the realm of the world and politics, we don't know these people well enough to even know if they're born-again Christians or not. You know, we're hanging on by a thread that Donald Trump is even a Christian. You know what I mean? So what I do care about is that in this day and age,
He's a Christian. He
this
believes
day and
in
age,
Jesus.
it's not like we're just relying on these Fox News commentators to give us their perspective. We have people who are a couple of degrees of familiarity with Kash Patel and Dan Bongino that are within the MAGA movement that we developed a really superior trust for, and they're validating our expectations that Kash actually has our interests at heart, and I happen to believe them. However, Kash has gone into Pam Bondi meltdown mode. Breaking news, Kash Patel is now considering resigning if Pam Bondi stays and Dan Bongino goes, per the Daily Wire. So both Dan Bongino as well as Kash really wanted to see Pam Bondi take all of the assault and go on the chopping block for this situation. Yeah, take the fall. And I was really getting irritated with that. And then Donald Trump decided to chime in over here on Truth Social. And his Truth Social message, he is, I can't read that, it's a little bit too small. I guess it's on the screen. It's one of the longest tweets ever. But ultimately,
What's going on with my boys? He says, and in some cases, gals. He says they all going after Attorney General Pam Bondi, who's doing a fantastic job. We are on Team MAGA, and he says, I don't like what's happening. We have a perfect administration, talk to the world, and selfish people and trying to hurt it. Man, he doesn't really give out like paragraph spaces. Yeah. He says, are trying to hurt into the guy who never dies, Jeffrey Epstein, for years. It's Epstein over and over again. Why are we giving publicly to files written by Obama, Crooked Hillary, Comey, Brennan, and Lucian? So that, I mean, so what now? He's just going to blame Barack Obama and, the Clintons and Comey and, and I guess, I don't know, man. I mean, but so then what you're saying then is that there is a file They just got done saying there wasn't a file and it's over. No, don't look over here. It's over. Stop. Let's not. So what is really going on, man? Where's that Trump meter at? It needs to be at about a 15 right now.
It is.
It needs to
It
be
is
at about a 15.
It's at a 15 for me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't
Not
know.
feeling
I
too
don't
good.
know. It's almost like, is this an intentional tactic to give me Israel fatigue, Epstein fatigue, Iran fatigue? You know, it's like every topic here was big beautiful bill fatigue. I don't know if it's because I'm just doing this news program and I have Elon fatigue. Every single topic, they're just absolutely exhausting until I just don't want to hear anything more about it anymore. And you would think that it would have so much drama that it was holding my attention and be entertaining, but instead it's having the opposite impact on me. It's just causing me to become a Trump schizophrenic, and it's not helpful it's not helpful because I know that we're moving at a rapid pace and we're only here, you know, are going to be in our we're in our seventh, what are we? We're in our seventh month now with the Trump administration. You know, and my hope is not lost by any stretch of imagination, but because of the pace of everything going on, you know, I just don't know what to think. And I'm hoping that what we're about to see is that because of Dan Bongino and Cash deciding to cut Pam Bondi's head off, that looked like what they were about to do was they were framing a change of mind on the whole idea that they weren't going to release the Epstein list, okay? And in typical politics 101, you would say, okay, well, now we need someone to blame and then get him out of office, which will be Pam Bondi. And it looks like all of the cards were lining up for them to be playing that particular card. But now with this tweet from Donald Trump, who says that he's behind Pam Bondi, I don't know what to expect. But we're also hearing word about special prosecutors being announced that are going to be looking into the theft of the
Matt Gaetz.
the theft of the 2020 election. And perhaps there is going to be a special prosecutor introduced for the Epstein list. I'm expecting to see an about face take place, especially with what we played from Laura Trump at the beginning of the program, which is the latest news that we have here. But it's a schizophrenic dialogue back and forth. And Trump couldn't be playing this particular Epstein situation any worse than what he is. I don't know if he intended to make everything as bad as he did. But you know, I really just would like some peace of mind.
So fact check. He says, look at the flight log, see how many times Dershowitz traveled. I don't even know who Dershowitz is. Who was that guy again? Who was he?
He's a constitutional attorney that's always been this mixed bag of quoting. Typically, you would refer to him as someone who's like sort of center left. I've never been a big fan of him, and this particular video clip is because he was accused of being on the Epstein list, and then therefore he used his attorney privilege and his knowledge of the legal system in order to, I guess, acquire evidence that would vindicate himself. But he's typically not a friend of the conservative movement, historically speaking.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't even know who that guy was. I thought what he was saying was on point, but you know, maybe, yeah, maybe he is on the list. I don't know. I mean, anyways,
my
who
arm.
knows? I'm not on the list.
Yeah,
I'm not. I know I'm not on the list. Oh man, but you know, when you got people, you know, like Kash Patel, this is what Kash Patel would be listening to when he put his hand on the Bhagavata.
Bhagavad Gita. You know,
Whatever, the baklava. I'm wanting to say baklava. Anyways,
I don't know. The story of the Bhagavad Gita starts with, I'll end in 20 seconds. It starts with, what is it? It's like this dude, Kamarana, and he's about to recognize that he's going to have to go to war against his entire family. And he doesn't want it.
We sound like robots again, I think.
Oh, you know what? I'm getting sick of this. Who says? Oh, gosh. How are we going to run a news program like this?
Yeah, we sound robotic for some reason.
Oh, yeah, for some reason. It's just Matt and his terrible software. Oh, Lord. What is going on with all these memory leaks?
Yo, our live stream is manifesting, dude.
It's just Matt and his terrible software. Oh, let's see if
Live
this thing
stream
fixes
manifesting.
itself. Okay, it's fixed. Yikes. I don't know what I'm going to have to do with this. We're going to have to start using a different restreaming service because it's with the restreamer, the proxy middleman, and the man in the middle, where this keeps going astray. I have to stop and restart it. Anyhow, unprofessional. We're trying to get to a really professional broadcast. I don't know if you guys have noticed all of our new on-screen graphics and the flow of the show. This is our first time piloting it out. So bear with us. We are intending to make this more and more solid new presentation for you guys. And we're about to move on here to our next segment, which is a quick covering of Elon Musk and the America Party.
What is that? What? Prostate profit again?
I don't know what's going on.
You know what? Because Matt's using something that comes from
Comes from
China.
No, I'm using something that I built myself.